Hello, it's Loop Dark Snout here, and in the daytime, I am totally not scared to be under here. Cars go by, I feel rather safe. Yeah, and it's a good place to take a leak if you have to. Anyway, on this episode of BackBit Impossible, I am reworking my character set program, the character maker program, because, well, now I want to represent my video frames as two character sets. Yeah, it's kind of like a jump back, but a major leap forward, because to represent the images as two character sets, it's going to improve the video quality so much. I could not resist the chance to at least try this. So in this episode, this is me with my first attempt, giving a go at it. How far can I make it in 15 plus minutes? Well, not very. I don't think I finished it in this episode. That's kind of why I had to break it into two. But anyway, let's see how far I get this time around. I guess I should document a little bit of the creation here. Testing out the raster split. It obviously doesn't know where anything is because the second character set isn't even accounted for. It's just, and of course it has to turn off the raster when it's going to do the saving and stuff. But during this point, I can hit restore all I want. The NMI is trapped. All the ROMs are out. It's just doing the raster, and that's it. Switching to a 6800 character set, and then down here switches back to a 7800 character set, which of course leads, one of them leads nowhere. Whatever. Okay, back to work. Okay, thing assembles without errors. We'll assemble it again just because. In many cases, well, I had to go in and make some branches in a lot of my code. I'll give you a quick taste here. Now I have just a simple variable called Hilo, which tells certain routines if I'm working on the top part of the screen or the bottom, because it's the entry points and the exit points, like, they need to be different, right? Let's take a look. Oh, right there. See, like, there's the beginning bit. You can see Hilo, or the top part, sets it for the top of the screen, and it sets it for the bottom of the screen, right? And to check for the end requires different code as well. So anywhere I flagged it like this: Hilo, top, bottom, so I can see it, and I don't know. It is a little slower because in the main loop, it's got to do, well, like, look at this, bit Hilo, blah, blah, blah. So that's, I put it in 0 page, I believe. So it's 3 plus 2 or 3 cycles to do every time. But the alternative, I was going to just duplicate all of this code just by simply adding a 1, so that these will be at 13,000, and change what I need to change. It'll be a little faster, but oh, the code was huge and my fingers were getting sore. It's a lot of inserting and stuff. But anyways, let's watch this crash, shall we? Okay. Oh, please work. Well, wait. Okay. So yeah, I rimmed out the save, so it's just going to open the proper file and go to it, because this is meant to operate from the SuperCPU. Come on. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Okay. Well, that's sort of good news. Okay, so if I hit restore, well, at least I have that working. Okay, time to go digging. Well, this is interesting, eh? Yeah. And I don't know if my code has overgrown, because the stuff starts to come in. Yep. The lowest value I'm using is, well, 6,000. And this tells it it's already at basic, goes up to 6,200 something. So yeah, my code is too big, but that's not the problem, because once it runs, who cares? Unless it... Yes. Well, when it comes back to basic to do the next bit, the variables are, they're gone, because they're saved past that. Well, luckily, due to me being a commentosaurus, I can go back in and eliminate a lot of these comments and get my 2 pages back. But that isn't the reason why it crashed, because it still crashed while it was in the machine language bit. So yeah, more debugging. Okay. And here's why I'm going to print this out and study it for debugging, because listing little snippets of it at a time is not really helpful, because I can't come up with the reason why it's doing this. Yeah. Oh, it's still doing things. But if I run it again, it might even crash a different way. Look at that. And of course the screen shouldn't even shake. The sound shouldn't go. Ooh, neat. Scary, but neat. Because obviously it's something's getting loose and wow. Writing where it shouldn't. And if I do it in high speed, well, it just screws up faster. Whatever. Okay, so here's where one of the major problems lies. Originally, the code did this. The data is the bitmap pointer, doesn't really matter what it's up to. So you obviously, to get to the next cell, you add 8 to it. BCS, well, that only happens when the high byte wraps, right? So let's assume it doesn't. At this point, increment Y, and if Y wraps, that is keeping track of things at a cellular level, like for the video matrix and stuff. When that wraps, I have a special routine just to come down here and increment the things, all the high bytes for those other things it's keeping track of, and it loops way back up to 3895. Here it is, where it goes on with the next comparison. Because I know that when Y wraps 255, it's never going to be at the very end of the screen, because, well, 07E8, you know the deal. The video matrix plus 1000 is not evenly divisible by 256. It's ending in something 24 shy of that. So I never even have to check. And originally I didn't. And the same thing happened here. When you're incrementing the bitmap, well, if the page wraps on if you cross a page on the bitmap, well, the next one is simply one higher, and I have the branch going here, so it's not leaping over it countless times. When most of the time it's just going to fall through. And once you're done that, increment the cell thing while you're at it, and deal with that appropriately. Sometimes, rarely, you'll have to do this anyway, but in the end, they both lead to loop 3895, and they go back and do the next comparison. The thing is, let's look at the normally. Well, normally it would just, on a full screen, it bumps the bitmap stuff, falls through, increments Y, it doesn't do this. And this wasn't here originally, all this high-low stuff, but this is where it would go next. When Y is 224 and you're on the last page of the bitmap, which was actually here, the bottom, that's what it was looking for. When Y is 232 and you're on the last page of the bitmap, then you leave. But, and here's me being stupid, you already saw it. The end of the top section is line 12. As soon as line 12 is the common line, which I plan to set later. So once it begins line 12, you're done the top. But that ends at AF00. Well, that is going to be an even page on the bitmap. So 3880, you go here, increment it, deal with Y, but you're not going back to check. Are we done? Because we just scuttled off. Because this is the one instance where the bitmap page does wrap when you're looking for it. So in the end, Y just goes boop, and it carries on. And then these things continue to get incremented because it's never going to find this until it loops memory entirely. Possibly, if ever,
But by then, it's already, these guys have gone on to the DC 100 area. They've had lots of fun wrecking stuff as they go. And it's nothing but chaos. So the fix, and well, I got my little pen here to mark it. Let's see, where do we do it? Why didn't I just do it this way? Because it takes more time. Originally, it didn't matter because I was being clever with a full screen, and it worked beautifully. But now we increment the bitmap stuff, and when it doesn't increment the high byte, we just go here, deal with Y, and again, here's me being clever. 52, what is that? 5252? Well, that's down here. Whatever, right? But you know what I mean? So it increments the thing, but then here's the high-low, yay. And now it's actually looking for AF100 at Y equals 224. Normally, so I ended up structuring the part that you just saw that was all buggered up like this. So yay, it has to branch a whole bunch of times to jump over this incrementing high byte thing that it doesn't need to. But now it works. Well, it sort of works. Check it out. Ta-da! And it obviously doesn't work because what is this? This isn't, that bit shouldn't be there. This is supposed to be completely fine-tuned before it leaves, but at least it ain't crashing. So that's one more step in the right direction. Whew. Okay, fixed a bunch of bugs, I think. This is my first run. Is it going to work? The only thing that shouldn't be done is the stripe in the center. Nope, she's toast. Crap. Seems to be working without the consideration routine, which is where the problem lies. And of course, when you see the character set there, when it changes to crap, well, that's because I'm deactivating my raster interrupt, and it's now showing the character set that it generated up here with the video matrix for down here. Because I don't think you can do serial disk access with a raster interrupt going. Besides, all the ROMs are knocked out just so I can get direct access to the vectors. Yeah, so it looks pretty while it's making it, and then it looks like crap while it's saving it. But the point is the player is going to be smart enough to do this. This is line 12. I really got to add the routine that just finds that data and puts it into both character sets and hard codes that video matrix line, to be 195 all the way up to character 234. Then it'll look good. But yeah, the consideration routine is where the problem lies. And well, I got to track that down because yeah, it's no fun. Otherwise, it looks worse. But of course, it's only taking like the first 4 rows and a bit and being smart with it. And then she looks terrible, right? But yeah. Okay, lots of improvements to come.
Well, I tried. I tried so hard. But hey, I wasn't able to get it done in one episode, so, well, that means I get to spread it out into 2. In the next episode, let's see if I can finish what I started this time around. Yeah, so, well, I'll see you next time on BackBit Impossible.